Chapter 52. Grand Tutor Wen's death. As Master Pure Essence took out his yin-yang mirror, Grand Tutor Wen quickly spurred his unicorn out of combat and fled the mountain. Master Pure Essence made no attempt to chase him. The Grand Tutor was so angry that his face turned yellow and his breath came in gasps, but he didn't say a word. Grand Tutor, as we cannot get through here, let's return to Yellow Flower Mountain and enter through the Green Dragon Pass, Xing Huan suggested. Grand Tutor Wen pondered his suggestion for a while. The way is difficult, especially for the whole army. I can easily return to Jiaoge by myself and mobilize a new army. But how can I leave you all behind? He had no choice but to set off with his troops for the Green Dragon Pass. After half a day's march, he found an army blocking their path. He halted and gave an order. There's an ambush ahead. Prepare for combat. Before they could even array themselves, cannon fire was heard and red flags were seen waving in the air. Nija sped up on his wind-fire wheels. Grand Tutor Wen, don't fancy that you can return home. This is where you'll meet your death. Grand Tutor Wen was so furious that a golden light flashed from his 3 eyes. Jiang Sheng has gone too far this time. How dare he offend me, His Majesty's most supreme minister, with this little whippersnapper? Raising his staves, he urged his unicorn forward to attack Nija, and the latter returned the blow with his lance. Sun Dengzhong, Xing Huan, Ji Li, and Yu Qing came up to help him. The 5 of them encircled Nija, who fought with desperate courage. Before long, Nija stabbed Ji Li, throwing him from his horse, then leapt out of the circle. He cast his universal ring into the air and hit Deng Zhuang on the shoulder, knocking him from his saddle. He quickly finished him off with a thrust of his lance. The souls of the 2 flew to the terrace of creation. Grand Tutor Wen was greatly discouraged by the death of his generals. He lost heart and ran away, but the rear of his army was cut off by Nija. Lay down your arms and save yourselves. Nija and his soldiers shouted. We're willing to follow your virtuous king unconditionally. The Shang soldiers cried in one voice. Nija returned to West Qi in triumph. Grand Tutor Wen marched onward with his defeated army. He counted his troops that evening and found that he had only 10,000 soldiers left. He sat alone in his tent, feeling utterly ashamed. I've never suffered such a terrible defeat. Don't worry, Grand Tutor. Victory and defeat are common in the life of a soldier. Let's return to Jiaoge now. We'll come back to get revenge for this humiliation, Xing Huan said to comfort him. The next day, Grand Tutor Wen led his men toward Yellow Flower Mountain, but before they had traveled far, an army appeared in front of them. A young general on a jade unicorn rushed out. By order of Prime Minister Zheng, I've been waiting here for you. You've suffered heavy casualties and can do nothing now with just a handful of men. Your doom is sealed by heaven. Why don't you surrender? Grand Tutor Wen was enraged when he saw Huang Tianhua. You rebel! How dare you insult me? Swinging his staves, he battled in front of the mountain with Huang Tianhua. After some 20 rounds, both Xing Huan and Yu Qing joined in. When he saw them, Huang Tianhua immediately turned his unicorn about and ran away. Yu Qing chased after him. As Yu Qing drew near, Huang hung his 2 hammers on the saddle, took out his fire dragon javelin, and threw it straight at Yu Qing, who fell dead on the ground. His soul wandered to the terrace of creation. Xing Huan roared. Here I come. He soared into the air and attacked Huang from above. Huang Tianhua found it difficult to cope with him and leapt away quickly. Xing Huan chased him at high speed, but was unexpectedly hit on the wing by a heart-penetrating nail and plummeted to the ground. With 1 general dead and another wounded, Grand Tutor Wen fled toward the southeast. Huang Tianhua led his army back to West Qi. When the Grand Tutor saw that Huang Tianhua did not give chase, he slowed down to normal speed. He was angry at this further defeat and could not stop thinking about it as he rode along. At dusk, he stopped before a bleak mountain and sat down to rest, his thoughts racing at random through his confused mind. With the help of Xing Huan, he had his soldiers set up camp there for the night. After supper, he ordered his men to rest well so that they would be ready to march homeward at daybreak. Near the second watch that night, however, roars like thunder startled everybody from their sleep. Cannons were being fired on the summit of the mountain. Grand Tutor Wen left the camp and saw King Wu and Jiang Ziya sitting on the mountain drinking happily. Some generals beside them were pointing and scoffing at him. There he is, fleeing with his defeated army down there. They laughed. This enraged him. He mounted his unicorn and rushed forward to attack King Wu and Jiang Ziya. But there was a deafening crash of thunder, and the figures on the mountain disappeared. He could not even see them when he looked with his divine third eye. He gnashed his teeth in anger. He was pondering what to do when he heard cannon fire below him and saw a great army surrounding the foot of the mountain. The soldiers yelled, "Don't let Wen Zhong run away." Grand Tutor Wen ran down to meet them, ready to fight a fierce battle. Yet when he reached the foot of the mountain, there was not a single soldier to be seen. Gasping for breath and filled with doubt, he was about to make a divination and find out what had really happened when he once again heard the roar of cannons on the mountaintop. King Wu and Jiang Ziya were clapping their hands and laughing loudly. "Look at Wen Zhong. He's lost all honor and dignity. How does he have the face to return to Jiaoge?" They taunted him. "How dare you disdain me like this, you Claude Jifa?" Grand Tutor Wen swore at the top of his voice. He raced his unicorn up the mountain, but he had barely reached the middle of the slope when Thunderbolt flew out at him with his cudgel. With no time to defend himself, Grand Tutor Wen uttered a cry of dismay and dodged the blow. He was saved from death, but his unicorn took the whole force of the blow and was cut in two. He tumbled to the ground and fled on a cloud of dust. "Don't go away, Thunderbolt. Here I come," Xing Huan cried. He flew up into the air to engage Thunderbolt, but was caught off guard by Yang Jian's sky-barking hound, which bit into his thigh. As Xing Huan was distracted, Thunderbolt gave him a mighty blow with his cudgel, breaking open his skull. His soul flew to the terrace of creation. Thunderbolt returned victoriously to West Qi to report his success. At the loss of his unicorn, Grand Tutor Wen was filled with despair. "How can I return to Jiaoge now? I took 300,000 soldiers to West Qi more than 3 years ago. How could I have imagined that I would lose all but a few thousand of them? All my generals and disciples have been sacrificed. Even my unicorn couldn't escape death." He felt lonely after Xing Huan died and sitting down, pondered his next step. After a long time, he raised his face to heaven and sighed. "Heaven has forsaken the Shang dynasty. Though I have been loyal, I can do nothing to change things. It's not because I haven't tried my hardest." He got up at dawn, gathered the remnants of his soldiers, and marched Tian along the winding paths. Without food supplies, all were tired and hungry. They soon came upon a village, and Grand Tutor Wen, too hungry to go any further, sent his men to beg for food. An old man came out when the soldiers entered the village. He examined them. "What important business brings you to this small village?" "We are soldiers in Grand Tutor Wen's army. We've come here after being defeated by Jiang Sheng. Would you be kind enough to give us some food? We'll certainly return your favor in the future." Some of the soldiers said, "Please invite Grand Tutor Wen to come here. He's most welcome." The old man promptly answered. The soldiers returned to where the rest were waiting. "Grand Tutor, an old man living not far from here invites you to his house." Grand Tutor Wen walked slowly to the village. The old man hastily knelt down. "Pardon me for not coming out earlier to meet your excellency." Grand Tutor Wen returned the greetings, and the old man bowed again and asked him to be seated. He set the table and brought in food. Only when the Grand Tutor had finished eating, did the soldiers come to sit at the table. They put up in the village for the night. The next morning, the Grand Tutor bade farewell to the old man. "What's your name?" "I'll someday return the kindness you showed me yesterday." "My name's Li Ji, Your Excellency." Grand Tutor Wen told his men to put the name on record, and they left the village. They took the highway directly to the Green Dragon Pass, but soon lost their way. Grand Tutor Wen ordered his men to halt. They were looking around when they heard someone cutting wood in the forest, so he sent some men to ask the woodcutter for directions. The woodcutter put down his axe and greeted them. "Welcome, sirs. What can I do for you?" "We're going to the Green Dragon Pass. Could you tell us the shortest route there?" The woodcutter pointed. "About 15 li to the southwest is the White Crane Mound. There you'll find the highway to the Green Dragon Pass." The soldiers thanked him and reported what he said to Grand Tutor Wen. The Grand Tutor ordered his men to march on toward the southwest. Little did they know, however, that the woodcutter was none other than Yang Jin, who had transformed himself in order to deceive Grand Tutor Wen into taking the road to Dragon Extinction Peak. After traveling some 20 li, Grand Tutor Wen and his men approached Dragon Extinction Peak. The mountain towered high above them, revealing precipitous cliffs and deep valleys. Rocks like the heads of tigers and cypress trees like coiling dragons covered the slopes. Clouds filled the air, and waterfalls rushed down at fantastic speeds. It was truly a daunting prospect for a lonely traveler.